from the top of the air box to the bottom of the oil pan, we're going to call that 53 centimeters. Now the exhaust goes slightly below that, but we'll call that 53 centimeters. Center line of the axle shaft to the front of the current engine. Where's my hand? Current engine mount is 42 centimeters. And the exhaust protrudes beyond the current by about 10 centimeters. So it's about 10 centimeters from out of focus. About 10, come on, focus. About 10 centimeters from here to where the exhaust is. The engine alone, with accessories, is approximately 38 centimeters. Yeah, about 38 centimeters wide. Then the engine transmission combination is, it's about probably 73, let's call it 72 centimeters wide, housing to outside of accessories. Now, as I'm thinking about this, it seems to me that the transmission could be rotated a little bit to create additional clearance on the other side between the axle shaft and a motorcycle engine. But I think the only amount of rotation that could happen would be once this gets down to the level of the current oil pan. So we can't rotate it dramatically, but I need to get a measurement between here and the oil pan so we know if the transmission, just how far it could be rotated to work with a motorcycle engine. All right, so the rotation of the transmission so that the bottom gets lowered to where the oil pan currently is conservatively 4 centimeters, maybe 5 centimeters. And from the center of the crank pulley to the center of the axle shaft, I'm going to call that 17 centimeters. I think from the center line of the axle to where I think the center input pinion shaft is on the transmission is about 15 centimeters. This is on the driver's side. Center line of the axle to the bottom of the oil pan is about 14 centimeters. Center line of the axle shaft to the front of the current engine. Where's my hand? Current engine mount is 42 centimeters. And the exhaust protrudes beyond the current by about 10 centimeters. So it's about 10 centimeters from out of focus. About 10, come on, focus. About 10 centimeters from here to where the exhaust is. The engine alone, with accessories, is approximately 38 centimeters. Yeah, about 38 centimeters wide. Then the engine transmission combination is, it's about probably 73, let's call it 72 centimeters wide, housing to outside of accessories. From here to where the engine meets the bell housing is about 37 centimeters. The real challenge is going to be the bell housing to axle clearance. That's the real difficulty in using the motorcycle engine and this transmission, is if I was going to make the input go into the center of the clutch, I got to be mindful of how much clearance to the sprocket output leaves between whatever the bottom of the motorcycle engine would be and the center line of this axle shaft. Now, from where I think the center line of the axle will be under the car's own weight to the strut tower cross member is 51 centimeters. And it looks like we could have that amount all the way across. Saved with measurement information from the center line of the crankshaft to about where the valve cover would be, 37 centimeters. From center of the crankshaft bolt to about where the end of the valve cover gasket would be, about 37 centimeters. Now, from the center line of the axle, measured diagonally to where we begin to make contact, is 32 centimeters. However, the axle is, the vehicle's weight is not supported right now, nor compressed by a bump. So it's going to be less than 32 until we start making contact with the cross member. And that's, of course, assuming that the air conditioner lines are not there. We would have a little bit more room above, a little bit more room below, because we could make modifications to the exhaust, which would be in here. So unladen, 32 centimeters from the axle housing to the point of contact. All right, from box frame across the box frame is 73 maximum, and from here back to this cross frame is 77 maximum. It's a little less up higher. This, I'm going to get a measurement to the top of the tower strut, I guess. Then from the uppermost part of the strut cross brace across to the uppermost part of the strut brace is a maximum of 70 centimeters, although it does increase as you come down. Looking at the compartment that separates the engine compartment from the trunk, it's just sheet metal, and I don't think it's doubled up or anything. I think that could come out. This cross brace and the diagonal bracing would still there'd have to be something, but I think you could take that sheet completely out and replace it with tubing. Engine compartment measurements for the beat from the center line of the axle to this bulkhead is 61 inches. So axle to bulkhead, 61 inches. From bottom of the chassis to the fuel tank cover, it's 21. And from clip to e-brake clip across is 66 centimeters. Shorter drive shaft, the splines that go near the wheel are, that's actually 0.960. The shorter of the two shafts is 22 inches, tip to tip, 22 inches. This is the shorter drive shaft. Again, the splines that go in the transmission here are 1.019. 1.019. Confirmed on the wheel end, there are 23 splines. there are 25 on the part of the shaft that goes into the transfer case, transmission. The longer of the two shafts is pretty much 29 inches, tip to tip, 29 inches.